Greetings, YouTube. Tuesday Kane is a 14-year-old girl in Texas. During the recent GOP successful attempt to strip women of access to their legal right to abortions in that state, she protested. And during that protest, she held up a sign that read, "Jesus isn't a dick, so keep him out of my vagina." Now, a slightly provocative statement, assured. However, also true. If you're going to be taking Jesus as a compassionate individual, that concept, then he's not going to do what the Texas state has done. We have a separation of church and state in the United States for a reason. And I've said this many times before, and I'm going to continue to say it because people don't believe me. That's the safest thing both for the church and state. But while she was using this sign and protesting about this issue, this 14-year-old girl was called a whore by supposedly Christian Americans. And she has responded with her reaction to being called a whore. I'm going to read this. "I'm going to be honest about what it feels like to be called that as a 14-year-old girl who has never had sex and who doesn't plan to have sex anytime soon. I feel disappointed. It's hard for me to understand why adults would be calling me this. It's hard for me to understand why anyone would use this term for a 14-year-old girl. It's not anyone's business, but as I said, I'm a virgin and I don't plan to have sex until I am an adult. But none of those facts make me feel any less passionate about fighting for a woman's right to choose and the separation of church and state in my home of Texas." I would like to add, personally, that calling any woman that, even if she is a sex worker, is not called for. That is a loaded term that we just don't need any longer. There is no positive way to use that term. It falls into the category of swear word in my book. Calling someone that is offensive, let alone a 14-year-old girl standing up for her rights as a woman to have access to legal reproductive procedures. I applaud this girl. I hope that she continues to campaign for her rights in Texas and the United States. I hope that she continues to tell people that the separation of church and state is important. And I hope that maybe, just possibly, some of the adults that would think calling a 14-year-old girl or any woman a whore will stop for a second, having read this or heard my video, and said, just maybe we shouldn't do that.